Our beautiful Illawarra is a place we call home, a place of breathtaking landscapes, vibrant communities, and a rich cultural heritage. However, beneath the surface lies a challenge that demands our attention and collective action. Countless women and children struggle to find affordable and secure housing. In fact, figures from the Australian Bureau of Statistics show that in 2021, there were 3,132 people experiencing homelessness in the Illawarra region. This translates to a rate of 99.8 people for every 10,000, more than double that of the national rate of 48 people per 10,000. Even further is that 77% of clients accessing specialist homelessness services in Australia due to domestic and family violence were female. Domestic violence is a haunting reality that plagues our communities, tearing apart families, shattering dreams, and inflicting unimaginable pain. For the women and children who find themselves trapped in this vicious cycle, it becomes a daily struggle for survival. They face the heart-wrenching decision of choosing between enduring the horrors of abuse or escaping to an uncertain future, often leaving everything behind. But what awaits these courageous women when they take the brave step to break free? All too often, they are confronted with challenge after challenge, including the lack of safe and affordable housing, counselling, legal and financial assistance, and advocacy. Women over the age of 55 are one of the fastest growing cohorts at risk of homelessness. For some women, a single crisis or change in circumstances can result in homelessness with little or no warning. For others, a combination of factors, such as financial insecurity, the high cost of housing, or relationship breakdown, may lead to them slipping down the housing ladder over time. Picture a mother working tirelessly to make ends meet, her children relying on her strength and resilience. Yet, despite her best efforts, the burden of an unaffordable home weighs heavily upon her shoulders. Imagine a child, innocent and full of potential, growing up in unstable living conditions, their future clouded by the uncertainty of their housing situation. This is the reality for too many women and children in the Illawarra. They face the heart-wrenching reality of long waiting lists, skyrocketing rents, and the fear of actually living without a roof over their head. We often hear that home is where the heart is, but for these families, home is where their dreams should have the opportunity to flourish. This is not just a matter of shelter, it is a matter of empowerment, security, and dignity. It is where stability is nurtured, where children can grow in a safe environment, where these families can heal, regain their strength, and find solace amidst a network of support. Now, the question arises, how can we achieve this vision? It begins with a shared commitment, a collaboration between government, private sector stakeholders, and the community at large. We must advocate for policies that prioritise community housing, secure funding for affordable housing projects, and encourage public-private partnerships to leverage resources effectively. Let us embrace empathy, compassion, and the understanding that community housing for women and children is not just a noble cause, but a crucial investment in our shared future. By providing a stable foundation, we empower these families, uplift our entire community, and build a brighter tomorrow.
Introducing the Phoenix Village Project, a community housing project for purpose. The aim of the Phoenix Village is to provide safe and secure housing for women and children escaping domestic violence. The name of the project is derived from the mythical phoenix, a bird that rises from the ashes more beautiful and powerful than ever. Our use of this symbol is meant to highlight and centralise the strength women have to escape domestic violence situations and provide safer and more secure housing for their children. However, this project isn't just about providing housing. It's also about creating a supportive, sustainable community which can run programs and initiatives to create a holistic approach to caring for victims of domestic violence. The design of these programs will be explained later on. However, the hope is that they are able to target all aspects of DV, from trauma, housing, finances, and more. Further on, we will explain everything from the design of the tiny houses to the implementation of trauma-informed peer workers. Keep watching to find out more.
The concept for this project was developed by a 9-year-old girl who had experienced secondary homelessness as a result of domestic violence. She is now a young teen, and we will be chatting to her later about her big idea and how she identified this solution. The purpose of Phoenix Village is to address the need for medium-term accommodation for women and children who are at risk of or experiencing homelessness as a result of domestic, family and sexual violence in the Illawarra region of New South Wales. What sets it apart from other assisted housing services is creating a community where residents can safely recover and heal at a time when they are most at need of additional support and services. Utilising an allotted parcel of land, transportable modular houses and tiny homes will be built around a central community centre. The grounds will include community gardens, natural playgrounds and a yarning circle based on the principles of permaculture. By incorporating sustainable design principles and energy-efficient technologies, we can reduce our carbon footprint and create environmentally friendly communities. This ensures a greener future for generations to come, while also reducing energy costs for residents. Co-design is a fundamental element of the Phoenix Village. A consultative group will be formed that includes sector-based professionals, researchers, and people with living expertise of domestic, family and sexual violence to collaborate on all aspects of the development and running of the project. Funding for the infrastructure and land will be sought through New South Wales Government's Community Housing Innovation Fund. Additional funding will be sought for the ongoing development and maintenance of the permaculture gardens. Residents will pay rent at a rate that is means tested and subsidised through Centrelink. This revenue would be utilised to cover wages for the on-site caseworkers and other expenses. This project will be pitched to UOW's iAccelerate Business Incubator program. This allows for participation in a program that has helped launch many local social enterprises, provides an office space, linkage to services, potential funding, investors and access to mentors to help structure and grow the project idea. Pathways to make the project more financially sustainable would also be explored through this opportunity. The principal service users will be women and children at risk of or experiencing homelessness due to domestic, family and sexual violence. Referral pathways include through DCJ's Housing New South Wales and specialist homelessness services such as the Wollongong Homeless Hub and SASI, which is Supported Accommodation and Homeless Services, Shoalhaven and Illawarra. The potential on-site residential caseworkers would be identified and trained through a partnership with IRT Age Matters and the Women's Trauma Recovery Centre. This team of grandmothers will be women who themselves are at risk of homelessness and demonstrate the strong interpersonal and collaborative skills needed to lead the Phoenix Village community. As paid caseworkers, their permanent accommodation in the village would be a part of their employment package. Work skills such as team leading, management, group facilitation, administration, social work, teaching, nursing and childcare will be highly sought after for these roles. The Women's Trauma Recovery Centre would also have an on-site counselling room in the community centre and utilise the space to run workshops and classes for residents. The on-site caseworkers would assist residents with addressing their complex needs, and through their partnership with the Women's Trauma Recovery Centre, wraparound support and services would be provided to facilitate recovery and healing. Through partnerships with TAFE Illawarra, the Sustainable Building Research Centre, Bunnings Warehouse and local builders, modular and tiny homes will be designed and built utilising sustainable building techniques and materials. This collaboration would provide ongoing teaching and hands-on experience for local apprentices, as well as opportunities for research and development in sustainable building for UOW. As the organisation behind the Illawarra's renowned permaculture school garden program, Elemental Permaculture will be contracted to design and landscape the grounds and provide ongoing maintenance as well as training to residential staff and residents. Partnerships with a local network of real estate agents, developers and housing trust will create opportunities for residents to transition into long-term rental homes and overcome some of the barriers they might otherwise face.
Hello everyone! So I am now going to speak about the theories and the frameworks that underpinned the creation of Phoenix Village. So let's get into it. So theory played a significant role in the development of our project in order to cater for the diverse and intersectional needs of women and children who have experienced domestic and family violence in a sensitive, thoughtful and evidence-based manner. DFV is a wicked problem that requires a deep understanding through the lens of theoretical frameworks in order to create a socially responsive community project. Phoenix Village has been extensively thought out using a wide theoretical base. Here is a list of all the theories that have informed our project, although I will not be speaking about every single one of these just now. So it is crucial that Phoenix Village engages trauma-informed practices in order to support the individuals effectively and sensitively. Trauma theory helps us to recognize the profound implications and impacts of trauma and abuse on individuals. Utilizing trauma-informed practices, we can enhance safety and provide opportunities for these individuals to regain autonomy and control. This can be achieved through a co-design process that values the opinions of women and children who have had personal lived and or living experience with domestic violence and or homelessness. This process allows us to create a project that is genuinely informed and authentically created by the community that will be directly accessing it. By actively listening and responding to the direct needs and concerns of this community group, co-design enhances the creation of safe and inclusive spaces for their own narratives to be expressed. Women and children who have experienced domestic and family violence and homelessness have experienced the abuse of power dynamics that have deeply impacted their lives. To address this, we must eradicate a paternalistic approach and instead place the highest value on their lived experience. This approach is also an element of strengths-based work, empowering individuals in a collective and authentic community environment, thus also working to defeat the wicked problem. This is also underpinned and influenced by feminist theory, as we work towards challenging traditional power dynamics and social norms that perpetuate cultures of violence and oppression. Another integral aspect of the Phoenix Village is that we give women and children opportunities for choice, control and autonomy, therefore highlighting a trauma-informed approach by also highlighting their resistance and resilience in the process, therefore also displaying strengths-based perspective. Incorporating the peer workforce in our community project will also be a valuable tool in delivering this anti-oppressive and trauma-informed practice. By involving individuals such as older women and those who have had similar experiences, we can create an environment that is empowering and empathetic. Not only does that meet the needs of the community group experiencing DFV, but it also allows a space for older community members to give back and actively and meaningfully participate in society, thus tackling intersectional issues. The knowledge and expertise of individuals with lived and living experience are invaluable in our work. By utilising peer workers, we create an environment that fosters hope and empowerment through the sharing of experiences and deeper understanding. This anti-oppressive and trauma-informed practice is one of the most authentic ways to engage and reconnect individuals with the community whilst also tackling this wicked problem. Phoenix Village draws upon the principles of ecological systems theory, which recognises the constraints faced by those who experience DFV and how they interact with the wider community. For example, breakdown in relationships and the nature of abuse creates tension in microsystems and can affect women's access to adequate social support. It is not enough to focus solely on the individual, but we must also consider the wider societal and structural issues surrounding domestic violence. By applying systems theory, we can understand the complex interplay of factors and remove blame and responsibility and emphasis from the victims. Systems theory also has helped to recognise the broader context and fosters collaboration of systems through co-design processes and the involvement of the peer workforce. To conclude, it has been essential and our intention to implement theories and practices in a manner that fosters authentic engagement and connection. By incorporating trauma theory, trauma-informed practices, co-design processes, strengths-based work, systems theory, feminist theory, and the knowledge of peer workers, Phoenix Village can attack this wicked problem in creating a safe, anti-oppressive and empowering community for women and children who have experienced domestic and family violence.
Hi, I'd like to introduce my daughter Mia.
Hey.
When Mia was about 8 or 9, she did a project at school where the children had been asked to come up with a big idea to try and solve a problem that was impacting society. And Mia decided to tackle homelessness, which is no small subject. So we organised an interview with the fellow who was the head of IRT Foundation at the time. And so she was able to get a good grounding, certainly around how homelessness was impacting older women in the community. But Mia also had a very personal reason why she wanted to try and solve this issue. And would you be happy to talk to us about that today?
So I've experienced homelessness before at around the age I was when I came up with this concept. And my idea around it was to build a community where everyone was safe and supported, the mothers and the children, because for every person who is in a tough circumstance, they need an extra level of support. And having a parent who's just gone through something horrendous, not having that support, and particularly in our circumstance, my grandparents were across the state, so we couldn't really contact them physically. Yeah.
Okay. So I understand, like, domestic violence obviously was a big factor. So what was your concept around, having older people support, and why? What people would you want to have support in this project?
Well, not only would having those people in the community support them, like elderly women, by giving them a house with, like, that's not too expensive to afford, and basically a home and community, but it would build upon a, like, family of sorts of people who've been through the same experience and understand each other. And the people in my community would be people who've experienced domestic violence or have high risk of homelessness. So giving them a safe space would be really good. And the reason why I chose particularly elder women is because, again, they are of way higher risk and less likely to be employed. So they wouldn't really be able to support themselves as much. And in my community, I would also, like, create jobs so then people can earn their stay. And it'd just be a beautiful little sanctuary.
Okay. Well, that sounds like quite a lovely concept. So what strengths do you think older women would bring to your community?
Well, they've had much more years to build up, like, wisdom and learn themselves, and I believe that they could help support mothers and children who've been through tough circumstances, and that they'd be a very valuable asset to build upon this family in the community.
Okay. So when you were experiencing homelessness, what did you feel that, what level of support do you feel like you were missing or you could have done with when you were in that circumstance?
Well, you were basically my only adult support. So having more trusted adults within that circumstance would have been way more, like, easier and less devastating, really. Because having other people in a little community of yours, and again, because we didn't have our family living near us, our extended family, then it was quite difficult to get that support.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense. So, ultimately sort of helping protect mums and kids who've experienced DV, but also tapping into a resource in the community being older women who are also at risk of experiencing homelessness.
So it's like everyone benefits from it. Like, they get housing and also a community and basically a family that they can
draw upon for support.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for sharing, Mia.
Oh, good.